Hey you, yeah, you. You just clicked this video, and that makes me believe one of two things. You really, really like philosophy, or you really, really like femboys, or perhaps you like both. And if you do, well, you're in luck, because this is the very first episode of Femboy Philosophy, a series that I have started, and that its purpose is to teach everybody some very easy to grasp, common, and very important philosophical lessons that I found have helped me in my own life after I learned them during my time in university. Philosophy, it sounds grand, maybe even a little intimidating, but at its core, it's simply the pursuit of wisdom, a way of thinking deeply about life and how to live it well. The goal of Femboy Philosophy is twofold: to inspire and motivate, because we all need a little guidance in life, and to bring a sense of joy and curiosity to philosophy. Because when I was taking my classes back in school, nobody in the room wanted to be there, and 9 times out of 10, I was the one leading the conversation because I found it genuinely enriching the stuff that was being taught. And a lot of it kind of went over everyone's head because it's in an academic setting, and I know not everybody likes academic settings. I am weird, I'm kind of a nerd. I am going to be trying to bring academia to this series so everyone can trust the information I'm talking about and really get some good lessons from it. And today we're starting with a philosophy that has stood the test of time: Stoicism, and one of its greatest teachers, Epictetus. And by the way, on that note, I am definitely going to be butchering a lot of pronunciations and names and all of that stuff because I have a very notorious streak with not really getting names right or pronouncing things correctly. And a lot of ancient naming conventions tend to be really difficult to say. So just bear with me if I stumble here or there with some of the pronunciations of things. All of the stuff I talk about is always going to be linked in the description with relevant sources, so you're more than welcome to follow the trail, as everything I talk about in this series is going to be very top level. I'm not going to keep you long, 10 to 15 minutes max, or even shorter than that. So you'll have the breadcrumbs you need to go down the path deeper if you so wish. But anyway, I hope you enjoy, and let's jump into this very first episode. You're probably asking yourself, what is Stoicism? Well, Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that originated in Greece around the 3rd century BCE. It was founded by Zeno of Citium, later flourished in Rome through thinkers like Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and of course Epictetus himself. Side note, Marcus Aurelius has a fantastic book called Meditations that, if you're looking for something that's a relatively easy read but is still going to blow your mind and probably require hours of Google searching and inward thinking, I highly recommend the book. We'll definitely be talking about it in later episodes, so stick around for that. But if you're eager, go ahead and grab it now. It is totally worth it. I'm reading through it right now and it's good stuff. But what's the core value of Stoicism? Virtue, wisdom, and inner peace come from focusing only on what is within our control. Trust me, let's focus in on the within our control part. Now, listen, we all do this where something happens and we get so emotionally charged from it, and it just ruins the day or ruins the week or maybe even ruins the month for you. And Stoicism is saying it's a waste of effort to care about things that you literally can't control. It's a waste of your effort, time, and mental capacity. I want us to focus on that part. We're going to get into that a little bit more in a bit. Imagine living without being emotionally wrecked by things you can't change. That's the Stoic ideal right there. To master your responses to life's chaos and develop an unshakable mind. Now, when I learned this, I latched onto it like crazy. During this time in university, I was so done with everybody around me. Everyone was political, everyone wanted to party, no one really wanted to learn. But you know what? I can't change that. So, I stopped caring. And this is the idea that really helped me get to that point and really helped me finish the rest of my education, only worrying about things I could control, and I really got so much more value out of my time. Now, I teased the name Epictetus a lot already, but who was he? He was an individual that had a really rough start in life, and that is saying something absolutely profound about the time he was born into, because he was born into slavery under the ownership of a wealthy Roman family in the 1st century CE. And a little bit of a side note here, a little bit of extra wisdom or knowledge. Slavery in the Roman Empire. Oh, that was a stumble. Gotta love my mouth. Don't take that out of context. Slavery in the Roman Empire was a completely different ballgame Then when you compare it to other parts in history and in other cultures, and Epictetus had the fortune to be left alone and given a modicum of respect, it's quite impactful to think that this is the same person who came up with the founding philosophy of you can only control some things, not everything, and wasting effort on things you can't control is pointless. I like to imagine he started to think about that during his confines of being under the ownership of a wealthy Roman family. I'm sure that brought him some sort of peace to get through the crappy situation that he was forced into. And instead of becoming bitter after he gained his freedom, he decided to dedicate his life to philosophy and founded a school where he taught that true freedom isn't about status or wealth, it's about mastering your own mind. Again, that is so impactful coming from him and the situation that he was stuck in for years of his life. And minor note, Epictetus never wrote down his teachings himself. His student Arian recorded them in the Discourses and in the Enchiridion. His handbook, the Enchiridion, is a collection of key Stoic principles, and that remains one of the most practical guides to philosophy ever written. And for, again, its central message is some things are up to us and some things are not. Let's finally break that down a little bit. Epictetus argued that life becomes much easier when we clearly separate what is within our control from what isn't. There are so many things that happen daily that we all wish we can control and influence, but it's simply outside of our power to do so. But what is within our power is our thoughts, our actions, our beliefs, our reactions, and our effort. If you waste energy stressing over things outside of your control, you'll constantly be frustrated. But if you focus only on what is within your power, you can develop true resilience. And there are so many examples that you can probably think about of this practice in action, but we're going to go over a few right now. And the first thing is someone insults you online. Now, if you also do content, or if you're just on the internet in general, people will leave bad comments. I've seen my share of some toxic, unhinged stuff that are just completely unbased and just really to get a reaction out of me or the end user. You can't control their words, but you can control how you respond. I can control how I respond to the people who say like cringe, this isn't creative, so on and so forth. There's an entire subsect of the internet that find everybody who does VTubing to be cringe and it's not good content. And I could waste effort getting mad at them on Twitter, or I can just ignore it and keep focusing on what I like to create and on what I like to do. I like to make femboy VTubing content. I like to play into the femboy habit or culture, and a lot of people might find that cringe. And am I going to get mad at them for that? No, because that's going to be a waste of my mental energy to care about that. I can't change it. But what I can do is I can choose to ignore them, block them, and use it as an opportunity to practice patience. That is my response to an action from someone else, which is outside of my control. What if your boss gives you more work? Now, this one's a little bit weirder. It depends on what you do for work, but most of the time you really can't control what your boss wants or what your company wants unless you're a startup and you have more influence on the day-to-day operations. This kind of leads into another very popular teacher that I love to look to for business stuff, and that is Jocko. And you can't really control what your boss gives you, but you can do the work the best that you can, react to it in a way that is in a growth mindset instead of getting mad. That one's harder to do. It's easier said than done, because what if you get something that's completely pointless, doesn't help anybody, and maybe it's given to you because you're like the lowest on the totem pole? You're going to get mad about it, but you can't control it. So it's a wasted effort to get pissed about it. What if a relationship doesn't work out? You can't really force someone to love you unless you're an incel. So what you can do is focus on becoming the best version of yourself moving forward. Unexpected setbacks, maybe a project fails or a video flops. You can't control the outcome. I know I just released a Division 1 survival video, and I thought I put enough work into it where it would be good, and it flopped. It did horrible. It doesn't even have 200 views on it, and my previous videos before that are like nearly to 1,000 or 2,000. I didn't get mad about it, and I'm pretty sure I know why it happened, but I didn't get mad about it. I just like, alright. What did I do? How can my next video be better? I approached it with an analytical reaction instead of an emotional one, because again, that's what I can control. I can't control the YouTube algorithm as much as I want to. I just used it as an opportunity to refine my skills and try again. Because every video I make, I try to leave with something new learned that I can apply to all my content going forward. And one more example that I talked about a lot during school and that my professor first explained to the class when we were learning this concept was, what if you're marrying your fiance, your spouse, and you set up a wedding, tireless effort. It's in a beautiful vineyard. The venue is fantastic. You have food, drinks, amenities, everything set up and ready to go. And then it starts to rain. You know how many people freak out when that happens? Everybody. I mean, everyone usually freaks out when that happens because that's a big financial investment. Not only it's a huge moment in the person's life is getting married, it's usually like thousands of dollars to set up something big, something like super memorable in a nice location. So when it rains and it really puts a damper on all of that, the gut reaction is to freak out. But we're not Zeus. We're not all power, like all encompassing powerful gods that can control the weather. So instead of freaking out about it, go inside. Hold it inside if you can. It will save everyone and yourself so much, mental energy. Again, for the millionth time, you can't control the weather, but you can control how you react to it. And if you react to something in a cooler, calmer way, everything else that comes after is going to be significantly easier. It might not be as maddening and a mad dash to find a solution. You're like, it's raining. This really sucks, but you know what? I'm going to organize everyone to get together and we're going to move this inside as fast as we can. Instead of going, holy crap, it's raining. What are we going to do? Everyone, mad dash, move the tables inside, move the cake inside, get the bride inside. See what I mean? A key Stoic practice is cognitive reframing, changing how we perceive events. Instead of seeing obstacles as unfair, Stoics see them as opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius, another famous Stoic, put it like this: what stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, when something blocks your path, it forces you to adapt, improve, and find new solutions. Every challenge is a chance to practice patience, resilience, or creativity. I'm going to leave you with an exercise that I do daily, and I should do more, to be honest with you. And this was something I felt like I did every hour when I was in university during my classes. Next time you're frustrated, pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself this question: is this within my control? If not, let it go. If it is, take action. So, there's your first taste of Femboy Philosophy. Just a small lesson, but one that can genuinely change your outlook on life. And that's the goal, to make philosophy practical for you. I can't tell you the impact that Stoicism, Epictetus, and the handbook had on me. This concept of some things are within our control and some things aren't, and wasting time and effort on things you can't control is just painful. Once I learned all this and internalized it and practiced it on a daily basis, it made me reframe my perception on a lot of things and my perspective on a lot of things. And it saved me so much aggravation and so much stress. And I really hope this helps you save so much stress and mental anguish as well. I hope it frees you from that, because once you do, and once it does, and once you discover that freedom, it's going to be so rejuvenating, I assure you. You want more stuff like this? You want more episodes of Femboy Philosophy? This is the first episode, and it's totally free. But if you want to keep learning with me, go ahead and check out my membership tier, Elder Druid, on YouTube, and you'll see the benefit member-only videos. And that's where this series is going to go, under that membership tier. There's no set schedule, but expect at least 1 or 2 episodes a month. I put some real academic effort into these because, fun fact, I actually miss academia. Yeah, I was a nerd, shush. Hopefully this keeps a level of quality you'll appreciate. Also, let me know in the comments what philosophers or ideas you want to see next, and maybe they'll appear in some of the later episodes, maybe some Buddhist philosophy and existentialism. If you want to keep hanging out, learning, and getting all of the femboy wisdom your heart desires, you know what to do. See you next time.